Welcome everyone to Al-Fanar Media's panel discussion entitled Sustainability, Arab University's Roadmap, a new panel from our series Al-Fanar Talks, the bilingual platform covering higher education in the Arab world. I am delighted to have two distinguished guest speakers with us today. Professor Naouel Abdellatif Mami. Professor Mami serves as Vice President of Foreign Relations at the University of Mohammad Setif II in Algeria. Her expertise lies in fostering international collaborations, promoting academic exchange, and advancing sustainable practices within higher education institutions. Welcome, Professor Naouel. And our distinguished speaker, Professor Tadhg O'Donovan. Professor O'Donovan holds the position of Vice-Chancellor at Heriot-Watt University in Dubai and is also the director of the Institute of Mechanical Process and Energy Engineering. His leadership focuses on integrating sustainability into research, education, and campus operation. I want to welcome you again and thanks for being with us today. Throughout this discussion, we will explore the challenges, opportunities, and innovative approaches to sustainability in Arab universities. Our esteemed speakers will share their insights, experiences, and strategies for creating a more environmentally conscious and socially responsible academic ecosystem. Let's engage in a thoughtful dialogue and work toward a greener, more equitable future for our universities and communities. Feel free to ask questions, participate actively, and let's make this conversation impactful. Thanks again for being with us today. Let me please start with Professor Naouel. So, Professor Naouel, if we want to talk about sustainability and we want to give some kind of explanation, what is the meaning of sustainability and why it's important?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you for this invitation. I'm very pleased to participate to this meeting today with Al-Fanar Media. To start with this question, indeed, it's a really very important question to understand sustainability in the context of the Arab universities most precisely. So when discussing sustainability in the context of the Arab universities as such a roadmap, it refers, to my belief, to the strategic approach Arab universities take to integrate sustainability into their operations. They need to do sustainability in academic programs and community engagement. And this concept, by this principle, encompasses several key issues. So when speaking about sustainability, we have to integrate, first of all, this notion to educational programs and research. So sustainability should interfere in curriculum integration. We are sustainable when we are developing and incorporating courses that focus on sustainability, on environmental science, sustainable development, and related fields. Sustainability is also research initiatives. We need to encourage and fund research that addresses local and global sustainability challenges. So we have to think in a sustainable manner to problematic and priority issues such as water scarcity in the Arab world, renewable energy, climate adaptation, really focusing and putting all these aspects together. Sustainability is also related to campus operations. So we need to think about green campus initiatives, implementing energy efficient buildings, waste reduction, putting up programs of transportation options in green spaces. This is also sustainability according to university. Also, when speaking about governance and sustainability, we have to speak about resource management. This is important when promoting the efficient use of resources like water and energy and implementing renewable energy projects and campuses. We can define also sustainability as community engagement and outreach. We cannot put these aside. And this cannot work without thinking of partnerships. So we have to collaborate with local communities, governments, and business to promote sustainability practices and awareness. And this is also done with public awareness because we cannot work alone. University has to link all these together by conducting workshops, seminars, and outreach programs to educate the broader community and sustainability issues and solutions. Also, sustainability has a link with governance. So we have, in order to do all these procedures, to implement sustainability policies. And this should also be done by establishing policies and governance structures that prioritize sustainability in decision-making processes. And this also should be linked to the Sustainable Development Goals. And the case can be defined in higher education as aligning university policies and initiatives with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. This, in turn, comprehensive approach to sustainability. Now, why do we do this? I mean, how to define sustainability if it does. So this sustainability needs to address regional challenges by taking into consideration environmental issues. And we know that in the Arab region, we face significant environmental challenges. I have already spoken about water scarcity, desertification in some countries, high temperature, sustainability initiatives. This can be done to help mitigate these issues through innovative solutions and sustainable practice. Of course, this also has a link to do with economic diversification. And many economies of the Arab world rely heavily on oil and gas. Sustainability in this case can be defined by focusing on sustainability contribute to economic diversity through the development of new green technologies and industries. So in this sense, we contribute a lot in global competitiveness, in social responsibility. So sustainability can also be defined as developing a community development, playing a crucial role in shaping future leaders and informed citizens. Because by promoting these sustainability issues, we contribute to the development of socially responsible individuals who can drive positive change in their communities. And finally, we have to think about long-term viability. So sustainability equals long-term viability by putting in place sustainable compasses, implementing sustainable practices, and making future-proofing education. So in summary, if I may, sustainability in this context involves a comprehensive approach that integrates education, research, compass operations, community engagement, and governance. In this sense, sustainability is a vital for addressing regional challenges, enhancing global competitiveness, fulfilling social responsibilities, and by that, ensuring the long viability and success.
Thank you a lot, Dr. Noel, for all these insights. And actually, it's very important to have this kind of integrated and also, as you mentioned, comprehensive approach about the whole thing related to sustainability. And it's very crucial to us all, and we need to contribute and we need to collaborate. So it's a lot of things out there. And I want to ask Professor Tadhg O'Donovan about, okay, this is the importance of sustainability. This is sustainability. So why it is important to the universities and to the higher education as also, and how we can make use of these concepts in our universities in the Arab world.
Thank you very much. And first of all, thank you for inviting me to join this esteemed panel. I'm very happy to contribute some of the thoughts and to represent, I suppose, my institution, Heriot-Watt University, to perhaps, share some thoughts on what the good work that is being done in region and internationally, and also maybe to highlight some of the efforts that we are doing in this region. I think, if sustainability could be defined in one, it's living within our means. And we probably have to admit that for generations, as we have developed, we've probably been using our natural resources at a rate that is not sustainable. And even with population growth and our continued dependence on our natural environment, we are now more cognizant of the environmental impact that we are having. And to date, it's unsustainable, our approach. One thing that I firmly believe, however, is that populations need to be able to grow. We also need to be able to sustain continued increasing quality of life. I don't think societies, no matter where they are currently, will accept any reduction in quality of life for future generations. And it would be, our generation has to ensure that we're able to maintain that. So sustainability really is about taking our natural resources, using them in a way that can benefit development, economic development, social development, and then us being able to create those mechanisms that can do so in a sustainable way in which the natural world can replenish itself. So the question then, more to what do universities do in that? Well, universities have for generations been the powerhouse of innovation. And it is clear that innovation is needed here. If we are going to have technical solutions, financial solutions, solutions that are going to ensure that we can continue to deliver, more growing and quality of life for future generations, innovation is key. I think we'd all agree on that. But currently, we're not doing it. So this is where we're making great strides in it, first of all. I think that's also the key. And just to touch on some of the points from Professor Naouel as well, we refer to the triple helix. How does a university work with industry and enterprise? How does it also work with government and policy to ensure that we have dramatic and social impacts and that we can directly address some of the challenges that are facing society today? Why is it particularly important for Arab universities? Well, it's equally important for universities around the world, but it cannot be left to other regions of the world to address these challenges because the challenges are different in different parts of the world. I will speak a little bit now of Heriot-Watt, is a global institution. We have a campus in Malaysia in the tropics. We have one here in Dubai where it is a dry desert heat. We also have a campus in the UK, our original campus, 3 of them, in what could equally be considered as challenging environmental environments because we need to heat our campuses and we have a reliance on significant amount of energy for our day-to-day operations. So we have very different demands and we have very different environmental conditions. Environmental conditions, of course, are also your renewable energy resource. And I know I'm focusing at the moment on energy, and obviously this can be extrapolated out to many other environmental needs. But if I focus on that as an example, I think it is a useful one to work through. Here in the UAE and across the Arab world, generally cooling is what we need. We effectively need to deliver thermal comfort no matter where we are. So we need to understand how best to be able to achieve that. If the Arab universities, and nobody's suggesting this would be the case, were not to rise to the challenge, then technology development would be for different parts of the world that have that have different needs to what we have here in the Middle East. For example, another need that is not necessarily unique, but is obviously prevalent or of high priority here in the Middle East is desalinated water, which is quite energy intense. So these are the local challenges or regional challenges that we need to focus on and to do so collectively so that we can learn from each other across regions where there's shared challenges, there's shared opportunities. And if I was to add further to that, we tend to take a technology agnostic approach to our research and the work that we do. And what I mean by that is if you have different demands and you have different resources, you will end up with very different solutions. But the approach that you take to design, the approach you take to innovation, the approach you take to delivering that ultimate need might just be the same. And there's a lot of learning that can happen from that. And I'd also like to pick up on some of the earlier themes. It's not just the technological solution, but it's how do we produce graduates that are knowledgeable in how to implement these solutions? How do we affect policy and incentives to ensure that we're helping society to adapt, and we're also encouraging an ecosystem or environment or enterprises that are able to take up the mantle, that they are able to see the opportunity and drive that change. Those are all important themes where universities play a key role in making those linkages. I'll leave you there.
Thanks a lot, Professor Tadhg, about this insights. Actually, it's important to really realize our problems and our regional problems and how we can all work towards facilitating or maybe reaching some solutions for these problems. And thanks a lot for all these insights. And actually, my question would be for Professor Naouel and for you also, Professor Tadhg, about if there is any samples or maybe models towards sustainability in Arab universities that you can share with us in this panel discussion. So let us start with Professor Naouel.
Yeah, indeed, of course. Actually, we have already said that sustainability is of paramount importance today. And if I speak about the Algerian case, as a case or as an example of the Arab universities, efforts towards sustainability in the Algerian universities have been gaining momentum as institutions now recognize the importance of integrating sustainable practices in their operations. It is now a priority for the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research to link all the university life, all the academic life to sustainability. So we think sustainable in education, in research, in the third mission of the university, which is how to link the university to the socio-economic market. And as a matter of fact, we have some concrete examples of these efforts, which have been done through in different themes or topics. So for example, I might cite the first topic, which is renewable energy. And in renewable energy, we have very concrete initiatives for solar energy projects that have been done in several Algerian universities, mainly the Algerian University of Science and Technology, El-Hawary. It is situated in Algiers. And this university has installed solar panels to harness renewable energy for their campuses. This is really a very important initiative because it not only reduces their carbon footprint, but also it serves as a practical learning tool for students studying renewable energy techniques and technologies. This has been really a project of paramount importance, which is now being generalized to other universities. There is also another project linked to wind energy research. And in wind energy research, there is a very important project at the University of Batna, which is conducting research into wind energy, potentially contributing to the development of sustainable energy solutions, replacing the classical energy by wind energy. And the research is done in a very specific laboratory. It includes researchers from several regions of the country. And this research project is also getting a label as a labeled research project, which will be financed by the Ministry of Innovation and the Ministry of Higher Education. There is also a very important project on water conservation programs. And this also helps in efficient water use because the universities are now implementing water-saving technologies, such as the low-flow fixtures, that are implemented, and there is also drip irrigation systems for campuses, which are compulsory now in the Algerian universities. So, for example, at the University of Oran, it has been introducing measures to reduce water consumption and manage water resources more sustainably. Linked always to water, which is really a very important topic now to sustainability, we have the recycling projects of water. And some universities are developing systems to recycle gray water for use in irrigation. And this also is done in departments by taking the non-potable applications, significantly reducing the demand for fresh water. And this also is a very sustainable measure at university. There is another one which is linked to waste management and recycling. And for waste management and recycling, there have been very important initiatives almost in all universities in Algeria. The pioneering one has been in the University of Tlemcen, which has established comprehensive recycling programs on campus. And this has inducted a separation of recyclable materials, such as paper, plastics, and metals. And they also conduct awareness campaigns through the student clubs in order to make the students aware with the staff about the importance of the recycling. There is also something that the University of Setif, to my university, is doing about green campus projects. And we can consider that the University of Setif too is a very pioneering university. It is number one by, first of all, thinking of green buildings. And here there is a new constructing building with sustainable design principles. We have tried to include energy efficient systems in the new buildings, building natural lighting, sustainable materials, and at the same time, we have been developing an Erasmus research project which works on how to make the socio-ecological transition of the university by developing the social responsibility. So we are having a training program. We have establishing concrete measures through a student club of green, which we have called the Green University Club, the Green for Change. We have also developed green spaces. So the campuses are really designing green spaces that do not only provide aesthetic value, of course, but also improve air quality and offer really areas for students where they can relax. And finally, of course, when we speak of the university, we speak of research, we speak of training and education. So we are also working on sustainability in curriculum and research. So we are now prompting all the new education and training for sustainable education by integrating sustainability into the curricula. And as an example, this has been started at the University of Blida, which offers courses and degree programs focused on environmental science, on sustainable development, and on renewable energy. We have also laboratories and research centers which are dedicated to research on sustainability. And of course, the university has also established partnerships, mainly with the civil society and with the community in order to enhance community engagement. So we are organizing public awareness campaigns. The University of Setif too, for example, is expert with the National Observatory of Civil Society, and we are organizing public awareness campaigns and collaborative projects with NGOs that can really offer knowledge and develop joint sustainability programs. Of course, a lot of examples are also can be stated in transportation initiatives. We always organize a day off, a car day off at university where no one comes by car. And with these examples, we really can demonstrate the commitment of the Algerian universities to fostering sustainability through practical initiatives, educational programs, research, and community involvements. So really these efforts, which are always backed up by the Ministry of Higher Education and by the Algerian government in general, they contribute to the broader goal of sustainable development in Algeria, and they also serve as models for other institutions in the region.
Uh, wow, just a lot of things happening there in Algeria, and it seems like there is a lot of efforts around the Arab world. Maybe it's vary from a country to another, but actually there is a lot of efforts towards sustainability in the Arab universities, and we want to talk more about Heriot-Watt Dubai. I think you have a unique experience also when it comes to sustainability, Professor Tadhg.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the correct answer to that is wow as well, right? There's a huge number of amazing sustainable initiatives happening in the universities in the region. I'd probably like to point to another few as well. I mean, KAUST in Saudi, American University, looking at very early stage as well as late stage, close to commercial, emerging tech is happening there. We have Masdar Institute of Technology, part of Khalifa University, leaders in the region as well, American University, Sharjah, University of Jordan, doing fantastic research directly addressing some of the fundamental science that could be transformative in years to come, but also looking closer to the emerging tech and supporting the commercialization of potential solutions. It's probably worth thinking more holistic then as well about what universities do, and it also picks up on some of the themes that Professor Naouel had there. When we talk about green universities or how we actually develop our own infrastructure and how we act as large, we are large organizations. We might be multinational organizations as we act quite like, the industry in a way, or we are demonstrators of what industry might be like. So it's kind of the onus is on us to maybe begin to demonstrate how we can transition into a more sustainable practice ourselves. And instead of talking about it or teaching about it, which we also do, of course, we get to demonstrate that it is possible. And that shows our students, part of it even a living laboratory, that they are able to operate in a sustainable way. So that idea, of course, of not traveling to campus as often 4 days a week or a car free is a great way in which it's not just a technological solution, but it's a social solution that can help, and also do it in a way that perhaps I'd say people quite like the idea of only coming to university 4 days a week. So I'd say it's a way where sustainability gets a good name, or it's seen as a good thing. The other things that we're doing on campus then is similar. I mean, we've integrated solar on our high-rise building. We've kept it as a microgrid, so we actually haven't connected in, and that also becomes a research facility for our students to develop smart grids and how they can integrate, store renewables and use it when they need release, or even store as hydrogen. So looking at new and emerging tech and looking at it on different scales and how it can operate. And it does become that we use digital twinning then to go from the weather, so we understand how when the sun is there, and how we also know how our renewable energy systems are going to work, and we're able to store. We're able to our building is a smart building. We have lots of sensors around it. We've got a lot of control about how we use our energy, using it for cooling, using it for electricity on different parts of the building. And we even can track how many people are walking or going through the building. So we're getting a lot of data and understanding how people interact with technology. And so we have a lot of, and that all sounds quite techy, doesn't it? It sounds quite like engineering solutions. But we also have the human factors. And we're able to see how we can influence behavior through nudge theory, for example. Think little sustainable things that you can encourage people to behave in a sustainable way, perhaps without knowing it. And that is the real trick, because if you think that renewables is variable, the sun doesn't always shine, the wind doesn't always blow, so too is our human behavior. So if you can understand those two big variables, and then you're trying to bridge the demand that we have as society to the renewables resource that we have in our environment, that's really the research that we like to engage with. But that element of demonstration I come back to, because while we can develop systems and we can influence behavior as much as possible, it's demonstrating that it's possible is also very important to us. And we work with emerging technologies, and we can put them on show. We can show how well they're working through our digital twinnings, our digital platforms, and we show the positive environmental impact that they have. And that then begins to drive business for them in one way, to be quite crude about it. But sustainability, you can also think about sustainability as financial and economic viability of enterprise. So it is important that the solutions we create are economically viable, because that way they will have the biggest impact on the world. So those are, and partnership between universities, who are often I suppose, the inception of many ideas. We incubate new ideas all the time, and we nurture them through our business programs and through our business accelerators and enterprise centers, and we even spin in companies. I'd just like to pick up on one other thing that we do, which is not unique to Heriot-Watt, but universities play an important role in how we can convene the conversation. We are a neutral arbiter on this, and we're able to bring together governments, we're able to bring together industry, and no more was this more prevalent than during COP28, when we hosted a climate hub and had the world come. Now, admittedly, they were probably coming to see COP, but they also dropped by the campus. And we hosted about 35 different companies who were all demonstrating their technology in a really engaging way and showing what solutions were possible. And then, of course, creating that whole ecosystem where our students were learning on a day-to-day, sometimes without knowing, right? Not always learning in the traditional lecture or tutorial environment, but learning by observation, by learning for exploration of new tech, and just being interested in everything that was going around them, because they are going to be the catalyst for change going forward, and that is our duty to future society.
Thanks a lot, Professor Tadhg. It's a lot of insights and a lot of things that we need, how to involve students. I really like it, all you said about this part, because all we need in Arab universities is to get some, what we can call active citizens, that they are very active to their communities, and they are interactive, and they know their problems, and they know how to solve it, and how to put their insights and expertise to reach this kind of solutions. So it's important about building the human capacity. You know, that this is very important, and actually you read some important things, especially when it comes to encouraging students to the sustainability, and it's really important thing that we need all to focus in our Arab universities. And before I go back to Professor Naouel, we have a question from Mrs. Nadia Gouiri, and she's Al-Fanar Media's Executive Board of Trustees, and she's saying, may I ask about the level of cooperation you esteemed universities are getting from the government? Can you tell us about success stories of sustainability projects that were adopted by the government and included in societal work? It's very important question, because you know that a lot of times we are talking always about what governments are doing, and what are the civil societies doing, and what are the universities doing. But is there this kind of cooperation between the governments and universities about sustainability? Let us start with Professor Naouel, and I will also get back to you, Professor Tadhg, to know some insights from this also.
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much. This is really a very important question. Actually, if I can give an example about the Algerian case, for the moment, the government is working in collaboration. I mean, all the ministries are interconnected in order to work the priorities of the SDGs. So if we speak about the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research, of course, which is relating all these changes to the universities, the ministry is signing partnerships with different ministries which can help and support the job of the universities in sustainability. But at the same time, the ministry is also officializing its relationships with the civil society. And this is done through a very important signature, as I said, with the National Observatory of Civil Society, which is really a body which is liaised directly to the presidency and which involves all the students, all the youth in the questions of sustainability. Now the university has what we call the universities project. This universities project is a project of 3 years, which proposes the strategy of the university and aligns the budget to it. We have to demonstrate in this project how the university can ensure all its actions, of course, the 3 missions, but it is compulsory that we include with us the civil society, the students, the NGOs, and all the stakeholders. The ministry now is supporting, which is something new, all these initiatives with money. We have budget in order to apply and to make all these actions come into life. The students now are a body which is the presence of the students, the presence of the civil society, and the partners from all the other aspects is compulsory in the administrative council of the university. That means that we cannot validate the work of the university if those partners are not present and they do not validate our project. So there are really some concrete examples that we can provide and that demonstrate how now the government is supporting the initiatives, knowing that the universities in Algeria are 115 public universities. So you can see the tremendous work and the tremendous support of the government to these universities, which are public, which are all supported. The education is for free, research is for free, transport is for free, campuses is for free. And more than that, they are supporting the work on sustainability by integrating all those SDGs into education and research programs with the civil society through these partnerships.
So if I could contribute on that one then as well, as an international university, we work with 3 governments. So we're working with the Scottish government, the UK government, and the government here in the UAE. Less so, in my portfolio at least, we're working with our Malaysian counterparts, but I'm sure colleagues of mine across our global institution also do. I think government has such an important role in both direct and indirect ways of working or influencing university. Partly they are the guiding light for the country. So what are the country's priorities and the government's priorities, and where are they investing, and where do they see the need, particularly for talent going forward? And it's those kind of signals to us, sometimes, as I said, not always direct, but by understanding the priorities of government, we react by, I suppose, facilitating the graduate attributes of students, no matter what discipline they're coming from, so that they're able to play a very active role in society and service the needs of the country and industry post-graduation. So that's kind of indirect. Some direct, of course, are initiatives, funding initiatives, sometimes of research, sometimes of continued professional development or executive education, where they're trying to upskill existing talent that's already within industry, or directly address some of the challenges that a company might have in going forward. And universities can play a great role in that, in accelerating the research that might have started as a concept and straight up to making impact for society. And government can incentivize those partnerships between industry and academia. And with international cooperation, as it is, particularly between the UK and UAE, there are large bilateral agreements between countries, and often it's rooted through universities, because I see them as universities as the agents for change. So multiple wins, where you're not only developing tech, but you're also obviously creating that talent pool that's going to, as I've probably a common theme here, of ensuring that the full impact of innovation is realized.
Thanks a lot, Professor Tadhg, and thanks to Professor Noel. Actually, it's very. I feel so happy. I don't know, maybe so wow, when it comes to this kind of cooperation between governments and universities and industry and this is all have a good impact on our societies. So I think the key word about this is credibility. So the Arab universities, they have this kind of credibility, and they can play this role by gathering all the task forces or stakeholders towards sustainability. So the governments, researchers, academics, students, local communities, industry, and civil society. So it's very important. We have a question from one of our participants on Facebook. Okay, thanks a lot. Please give us how to make a link between the university students, researchers, and companies, or socioeconomic transition, and make success projects. So
I can start with one if you'd like. We have a very successful business incubator, and we invite submissions from generally early stage ideas, concepts, perhaps even before they have their minimum viable product or process yet. And we work with them to develop that. Now, this is completely separate to whether you're a Heriot-Watt student. It can be from anywhere in the world, and we're just interested in investing in you. It's, when I say investment, it's mostly in our time, small amount of financial investment, and it's about a year-long project. And then we hope that you go off and have a very impactful future. So that's one of the ways in which we have a very tangible scheme of linking, tech or solutions that are going to do a societal good with, future enterprise.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Here, I don't know from where the question comes, but I can give the concrete example of Algeria because the situation is very clear here. Actually, the university now has a very important link, the Ministry of Higher Education, with the Ministry of Innovation and Research Projects. So the Ministry of Innovation is financing more than 6,000 projects of students which are going to the social market. At each university in Algeria, we have what we call the Employability Support Center, and we have the incubator. Now, for the incubator, we are working with the students who have startup ideas, new ideas that will be supported in order to make their project come into life. And it is the university which supports them financially, because the budget of the project will go directly to the student as soon as the student proves through the different levels that the project is a viable project which is successful as a startup. The Center of Employability is working on all the other projects which are not ideas of startups, but which are employability ideas. And every student, when they are doing the third year of bachelor or their second year of master's, they present a project to the center. And we have all our partners, the socioeconomic partners who come support the project, accompany the student and support him. And when they agree that the project is needed for their company, because we have so many partnerships, we present again the project to the ministry, because there is an organism which is really specialized for these projects, and it is getting financed directly. As an example, Setif 2 University for this year has the availability to support 67 entrepreneur projects. So all these are organized and they automatically are linked to the socio-economic market, and they can realize their project and keep building it through the accompaniment of both ministers.
These really very good examples, and we are giving the most important thing that we need in the Arab world, which is hope. We give people hope, and when we talk about sustainability and the efforts that led by Arab universities, so we really give this kind of hope to the Arab population. We have also another question about what level of funding is offered to each project. So I think this is to Professor Noel.
Yeah, actually, this depends on the project. As I said, if it is a startup, it is directed to the incubator and through it to the Ministry of Innovation. If it is an employability project, of course, there is a business plan. In the business plan, there is the explanation of the necessary budget in order to realize the project. And of course, the project is financed 100%. So it is totally financed by the government.
Great. What I really like about this is that when we talk about all these examples, we raise the awareness about these efforts that have been made all around us, and maybe a lot of people do not know that this is really exists, and also that we really give all what we can do to the sustainability efforts when it comes to reserving our planet, or maybe the economic development, or maybe the social equity, or the long-term perspective of sustainability. So these pillars, when it comes to environmental sustainability, economic sustainability, or social sustainability. So all these efforts is there, and people just need to know more about these efforts and try to engage actively with these efforts. And this would lead us to another question, which is how to integrate sustainability into the educational programs and the research programs in the Arab universities. How to teach even sustainability in our Arab universities. Let's start with Professor Noel, then I will take this from Professor Tadhg. Okay?
Okay, great, thank you. I think that now every university in the Arab world needs to build a strategy. They need to involve a strategic and comprehensive approach in order to apply and integrate those SDGs into the educational and research programs. For the moment, we are trying to do this at the level of the Algerian universities by establishing a holistic approach that starts as follows. First of all, we are doing an assessment and alignment of the current programs in order to see and evaluate the existing educational research programs and identify the areas that align with the SDGs. So we need to know exactly where and how to include the SDGs in every discipline. This is a challenging approach, actually, because there are disciplines which are pertaining, for example, to social and human sciences, where the teachers maybe or the educators cannot see where is the place of sustainable development when speaking about renewable energy, greening. Sometimes they say, but we are French literature, English literature, so how we can do that? So we have to align the goals. And by aligning the goals, we can map each SDG to relevant disciplines and courses within the university's curriculum and research. This is something that we already did. Now what we are doing for the moment is the second step, which is curriculum integration. So through curriculum integration, we are now offering and proposing new courses. And these new courses, they introduce specifically disciplines which are dedicated to the SDGs. They can be horizontal units in the whole course, and they can cover topics such as sustainable development, environmental protection, social justice, economic empowerment. All these are included as horizontal disciplines in all the courses of the university. And by this, we are able to infuse the SDGs across all the disciplines. As far as research and innovation, we have the privilege to be funded by the government. So we have grants to work on the priorities, the energy, the sanitary health, etc. But at the same time, we are finding grants from projects and we are working on climate change adaptation, for example, poverty alleviation. So all these topics which are interdisciplinary and where every specialty and every researcher can participate. So we are now focusing on interdisciplinary research in order to include the SDGs in research. The third element, which is really very important, is student engagement. How we include the students. We are including in every course extracurricular activities. We have established at the universities of Algeria the notion of the 5 stars student. Every star means something. 1 star is for the student who has the best average. The 2nd star is for the student who participates in an Erasmus mobility, for example. The 3rd star is for the extracurricular activities. So when he has the 5 stars, he has privileges in his career. So we are establishing a student-led sustainability clubs, which engage in those internships and fieldwork. Of course, we are also working on community partnerships, because when we offer the course, the partnerships also have a compulsory part in the course that we offer, in the Canva of the course. So we are engaging local communities by collaborating with NGOs, government agencies, industry partners. This is very important. And we are also training the trainers. So we are working on faculty development. This is something very important. Whenever there's something new, we have to train the trainers, mentoring by offering mentoring activities, but also by offering incentives. Because at the university, every priority now has a commission. We have the Commission on Digitalization, the Commission on Employability, and so on and so forth. So we need to recognize and incentivize the faculty members who are actively contributing to the SDGs. And finally, all these need to be monitored and evaluated. So we, in the quality assurance office that we are implementing new mechanisms to monitor and evaluate the impact of SDGs in the interaction efforts. And through the feedback and in continuous empowerment that we do, we are having advocacy and awareness by public campaigns, by policy advocacy. And by this, we are really looking forward to being effectively integrating the SDGs into the educational and research programs by fostering this culture of sustainability and innovation.
Thanks, Professor Naouel. And I want to ask Professor Tadhg about this and how to include this SDGs inside across the educational programs and research programs in our universities.
So it's a fantastically, great question, isn't it? Because it speaks very much to what universities are to do. We are there to have a positive impact. We trade in positive impact. We measure our success in the positive impact that we have in the world. And research is certainly one way in which we do it. But I'd like to start to focus again, as Naouel did, on the catalyst for change, which are going to be our graduates going forward. So we've developed courses called Shaping Tomorrow Together, which is a type of program that brings in sustainability practices at its core. And this is for all students, irrespective of their discipline. And it's also recognition of the fact that irrespective of whether you're going to be an engineer or you're going to be a psychologist or you're going to be in business, there are certain fundamental things that you will need to understand and know to be able to drive change in your future and even to act sustainably in the future, understanding the impact that you as a person will have in the environment. I also love picking up on that theme of interdisciplinary, though, because we have a habit in our curricula in designing to become an engineer. You might never talk to somebody in psychology or in marketing, but of course, if you are to have impact, you will need to work with so many very different disciplines and understand the different characteristics and how to work with other people to really empower a change that you want to see. So we have initiatives in that too, really trying to break down those interdisciplinary barriers that might be perceived, and to show how by breaking them down that there are synergies that can be achieved. So that's all very important. We have also a huge initiative about purpose. And we work with our students from very early on in their career, identifying their purpose. What is it that really inspires them to get up in the morning? What is it that they can really contribute during their day, during their life, in their family, in society, and obviously going forward? So they're able to activate that purpose, and they're really able to achieve all their potential. And we bring that very much into our research as well. So we have 4 what we call global research institutions. One on AI and robotics, directly aligned with some of the challenges of society. We have one on earth and marine sciences, one on health and care engineering, also very much featuring in the Sustainable Development Goals, as we have an aging population. And a 4th one, of course, perhaps closer to mine, which is on net zero. How do we achieve net zero? And we call it INETS Plus. Now, how do we even go beyond net zero so that we can begin to repair some of the potential damage we've already inflicted on our environment? These are purposeful research institutions. So there's not science for science's sake. It's very much challenge-led. So we understand what the challenges are of society, and we bring together multidisciplinary teams to research on these areas. So while I tend to think in technology, because I'm an engineer, and the technical solution, I also realize that I have to build teams that will make sure that my solution is economically viable, that it's going to be socially acceptable. I work with psychologists, for example, and I'm interested in its environmental impact from its over its full life cycle. And I'm trying to really understand what is a positive solution. And that way, that multidisciplinary approach in both our research and our teaching that is purposeful and directed at a challenge, and those challenges are all there for us in the Sustainable Development Goals, is a very progressive way in which, well, it's obviously helped us go up the ranks in the QS as well. So this is perhaps part of the topic that we were discussing today. So this seems to be winning for us in as much as we think we're having a very good societal good. And also, it seems to be what people want. It's helping us to have impact. So it's something we're very happy to share with people because we think it's working.
Thanks a lot, Professor Tadhg, and actually, this is very inspiring because we are here talking about this kind of intercultural and also multi-experience things happening there. And actually, another thing is very inspiring, which is you are an Irish professor and you are in a Emirati university. I'm here from Cairo, Egypt, talking to you and Professor Naouel from Algeria about sustainability. So these are some kind of cross borders.
I'll add in an uncomfortable. An Irish professor working in a British institution based in the UAE. That's
exactly. So,
but we celebrate that. We absolutely celebrate that, and we welcome it. We have Go Global. So the idea of learning from each other's cultures and appreciating that, if we can impart some of that to our students, no matter where they're studying, we feel that's a job well done.
Exactly, because this is what I was trying to ask you again about. Okay, we have this comment from Mr. Sam Bahour about it. He has a suggestion: create online opportunities for us outside of Algeria to see the startups and possibly be involved. So this is a benefit from this panel discussion. Also, Mrs. Nadia Goueli is asking, how about collaboration across borders between universities in the Arab region? Any initiatives on this front? Maybe Professor Tadhg, we can talk about this question.
I will. I'd say so. Collaboration across universities, just more generally, is something that the universities are very good at, and they see the benefits of collaboration in realizing. Because I suppose there's always an appreciation in universities that you're never an expert at everything, and you can always recognize the value and contribution of people who have different perspectives and different expertise. I would say it's happening more and more so here in the UAE than it was even 5 years ago. That we've developed the UCN, the Universities for Climate Network, which is really helping universities. It started in the roll-up to COP, and we've continued that initiative now, and we're sharing best practices, we're sharing research opportunities, we're hosting a discussion and moving forward on that. Prior to that, of course, as an international university, most large international universities will have affiliations and collaborations across the world. Ours number over 200. So we're working with small and large institutions from all across the world, from the States to Australia to the Middle East to obviously Asia and Europe and Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa. Across the piece, we have collaborations, and that is so very important. It doesn't only offer a synergy, but it enriches how we work, and we learn just by doing it, you know, by learning from each other and identifying new opportunities that we hadn't originally conceived of. And this is one of the joys of working in education or working in universities, because you get to explore new opportunities. And for as long as you go with that kind of purposeful approach, you know, and with that spirit of exploration, that we're, you know, we don't have the solutions, but together we think we can, that it really helps to build successful collaborations that are long-lasting. So I see more and more of this in future. It's definitely a multinational world that drives innovation.
Time is running out. I think we covered all the topics, but for one last thing from Professor Naouel and from Professor Tadhg, in just specific points to give a notion of roadmap towards sustainability in Arab universities. Where to start?
It's important in any challenge to first of all identify what success looks like. You know, and what do we think now? And then you begin to, well, we sometimes call it backcasting, or you're looking at the different steps that would be necessary to achieve that. We know some of the fundamental principles and how we affect change in the spirit of collaboration, and lots of these themes have come up throughout this panel already, about interdisciplinary, about working with others in government and policy and enterprise and future skills and talents that we do. So we know those are there. I think we're well on the road, as it happens, at the moment towards a sustainable future. I'm confident of that. Yes, we cannot be complacent, and yes, the challenge is huge, but we've already started, I would say. Sorry, I'll pass on.
Thank you, Professor.
Yeah, I think that maybe the last word would be that to speak about sustainability, we need to speak about not copying, but adapting to every single situation. So what is happening in the Arab universities is not the same as what is happening everywhere, but the aim is the same, which is making a better life for each and every one. So maybe the mission of the university today is try to develop everyone looking at his own environment, trying to take these principles in order to adapt them to their immediate situation, so that every individual is able to live sustainably in his own environment, in his own university and country, but at the same time, he is able to cope with the others. Sustainability, to me, means trying to build a global citizenship education. So by including all these aspects, we will be able to create a balanced person who is able to fit and to face all these challenges.
Thanks a lot, Professor Naouel. And by the end of this panel discussion, I really want to thank you all for your participation and for valuable insights and this fruitful participation and engagement in this panel discussion. I want to thank you all for this, for our panel discussion entitled Sustainability Arab Universities Roadmap. I want to thank Professor Naouel Abdellatif Mami, Vice President for Foreign Relations at the University of Mohammad Lamine Dabaghin, Setif too in Algeria, Professor Tadhg O'Donovan, the Vice-Chancellor at Heriot-Watt Dubai. And I really want to thank all those who participated in this panel. Looking forward for more discussions from Al-Fanar Media and our series Al-Fanar Talks. Our next discussion will be about critical thinking and how to work on students' skills. So waiting you for our next panel discussion. You will find all the details about this panel discussion in our website, www.al-fanarmedia.org. Thank you again, and looking forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.